Are you wanting some really fun Zoom games for kids and you are tired of looking all on YouTube or looking on Google and trying to find some Zoom games for kids? Well, this video is like a one-stop shop. Today I'm going to give you 30 Zoom games for kids. Hey fun people, welcome to Everything Aja. My name is Aja, and here on Everything Aja, I empower you with the knowledge and skills needed in order to go out there, shape the future, and have fun doing it. If you're interested in making lasting memories through shaping the future the fun way, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and click the bell. So with these 30 Zoom games for kids, I'm going to do a collection. In doing this video, you're going to see different clips from my other Zoom games for kids video. Just know in this video, I'm giving you 30 Zoom games for kids. Let's get started. Pinch fingers. Pinch fingers is gonna help your child develop two things. The first thing it's gonna help your child develop is their fine motor skills. This just simply means those little muscles in their hands that they need in order to write. The second thing it's going to help your child do is prepare for writing. So pinch fingers is a really good pre-writing activity. With pinch fingers, each child will need to go grab two bowls and any sort of small object. Once everybody has their bowls and small objects, they will pour all of their small objects into one bowl. The other bowl will of course be empty. They will set up their bowls side by side, and then each child will adjust their device so that you can see everybody's screen. Once you see everybody's screen, you will be the timekeeper, and you will simply set a timer for 60 seconds. Within those 60 seconds, each child must only be able to use their index finger and their thumb in order to pinch each small object from one bowl to the other. Each child will compete to see how many small pieces they can move from one bowl to the other within the 60 seconds. Now you're going to want to encourage each child to get one piece at a time. This way they're not cheating. Our next game is called Ball Pass, and just like pinch fingers, this game also helps develop pre-writing skills by developing each child's fine motor skills. Only instead of developing their muscles in their fingers, this game you are actually developing the muscles in their wrists that they will need in order to write with a pencil. Only you're doing it in a really fun way. Each child will need to go grab two bowls, like two big cooking bowls. They will also need to go grab some balls or blocks that they have around the house. Now, I like to play with water, but if you're not down with telling each child to go get some water, then you don't necessarily need water in order to play this game. But if you're messy like me and you want the kids to have water in their bowls, let their parents know in advance that you're playing this game. This way you're not getting yelled at for having water all around the house. And what you will do is each child will put their blocks or balls into one cooking bowl. Then they will go grab a spoon out of the kitchen, you know, one of these big long spoons. Now, if you're playing with water, I suggest you grab a spoon that has the holes. This actually helps with water everywhere. If their child doesn't have one that has the holes, then they can simply grab any big spoon. It will still help develop their muscles in their wrist. Just like pinch fingers, you will set a timer for 60 seconds, and each child will move their device so that you will see both bowls in the camera. Now, when you say go, each child will grab their spoons and they will move their blocks or balls from one bowl to the next. If they have water, it's really fun because they have to kind of go bobbing for balls or bobbing for blocks. And then, of course, when the timer goes up, whichever child had the most balls or blocks in the empty bowl wins. Now that we have developed each child's fine motor skills, we are now ready to develop their gross motor skills. So our next game is Simon Says. If you don't remember how to play Simon Says, no problem. That's what I'm here for. So with Simon Says, you will simply say Simon Says, and then you will give the kids an activity that involves them moving. So they can do jumping jacks, or even running in place for a amount of seconds. Or you can even make them be silly and act like a monkey. Whatever it is that you decide to do, you're going to give them some really fun movement activities, and each time you're going to say, Simon says do jumping jacks, or Simon says run in place. And then when you want to get someone out, you don't say Simon says. And if a child does it, they're out. So you can simply say, act like a monkey. And that child that sat here and did this, they're out. Now, our next game will actually help with letter recognition. Yes, we want to see if kids actually recognize letters when they're entering kindergarten. So in order to know if they're ready for kindergarten, let's see if these children know their letters. Our next game is called Letter Race. And what you will simply do is you will share your screen and use the whiteboard feature. I just simply had two teams, you know, team 1 and team 2. And then somewhere on the screen, go ahead and have a place where you can take score of how many points each team is getting. On the rest of the whiteboard, what you would do is simply write a letter. The first team to blurt out what that letter is, they get a point. You would then continue to write letters. Once a child guesses the correct letter, you give their team a point and you erase the letter and write another letter again. The first team to get to 10 wins. Now that we know children can recognize letters, let's see if they actually know their letters' sounds. So the next game we're going to play develops their phonemic awareness, and that's just simply understanding sounds. So with sounds or phonemic awareness, you're wanting to see if your kids can hear the sound that you give them and find an object that starts with that sound. This next game is a sound scavenger hunt. If you want to be a little extra like me, you could also use the whiteboard feature to write the letter and still say the sound. At least this way the kids will get to hear the sound and see the letter so they can associate the sound with the letter. Now, just like with these other games, you're going to give kids 60 seconds to go on the scavenger hunt. This way they all get back in time. So if I want to give kids a sound like ruh, they will have 60 seconds to go find as many objects that begin with the ruh sound. Now, if a child comes back and they bring roses and a card that has the word rainbow, they would get 2 points. Unless they argue and say each one of these is a rose and it's a rainbow rose, that would be a lot of points.
So, this letter says you're going to have 1 minute to bring all the objects that begin with the k sound, okay? That begins with k.
The kid that brings the most objects that all begin with that sound wins. Now that our kids know their letters and sounds and they have their fine and gross motor skills developed, we need to teach them their numbers. We haven't done any math, y'all, so let's get to it. Our next game is a number race. Yes, a number race. In order to do this number race, you're going to once again divide up all the kids into 2 teams. And then you're going to display the whiteboard feature. And pretty much each child is racing to see if they could be the first person to say that number. It's really similar to the letter race we just did, only it's the number race. Ta-da! And then of course you'll give each child that yells the correct number a point and their team wins.
$22. 5. 11.
Simon says number style because we have to change it up a little bit. And instead of the regular Simon Says that we discussed earlier, this time I'm going to give my kids a number. So you're actually seeing if they know how to count and you're helping them develop their gross motor skills. So instead of saying Simon says do jumping jacks, you will say
Simon says do 7 jumping jacks.
And then each child must count out loud how many jumping jacks they're doing.
Simon says do 5 push-ups.
Beat the buzzer, addition and subtraction. Yes, you guys, I've combined both Beat the Buzzer games. So now we have Beat the Buzzer addition, Beat the Buzzer subtraction, and Beat the Buzzer addition and subtraction. In Beat the Buzzer, the addition and subtraction version, there's still 11 rounds, only this time there are 11 long rounds because we have a lot of facts to go over, of course. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated for kids to beat the buzzer. Of course, the addition and subtraction problems are all mixed in, so it really challenges kids to know their math fluency. So make sure that you download the addition and subtraction and the addition and subtraction beat the buzzer games. Once again, I have the links in the description and also down below in the comments. I've even combined the 3 games so that you can have a beat the buzzer bundle and of course shave some dollars off. You can save some money by just buying the bundle. So make sure you check that out. The next game is a minute to win it tower. Each kid will go get their own Mega Blocks or Legos, whatever they have at home, and you will set a timer for 60 seconds. Each child will try to build a tower that is sturdy enough to balance books. So they have to have a really strong base. We're not going for height. With everybody placing one book at the exact same time, you will see which person's tower is able to hold the most books. If a book falls off of a tower or the tower breaks, then that child is out of the game. And of course, the last tower or child standing wins. This game really helps with thinking strategies such as problem solving, and it's also a really good STEM activity. This game is called Freestyle. You will play a song, and I just simply played Kids Bop, and everybody has to dance. So you will see everybody dancing on their screen. So then you will hit pause, and whoever doesn't stop dancing, they're out. They have to sit down, and you will continue to play until you have one lucky kid still dancing. Now before we go on, let me know what are some of your favorite Zoom games that you like to play with kids. Let me know down below in the comments. The mystery item. And before anybody goes and gets an item, what you're going to do is allow one person to be it. So you're going to say, hey you're it. And then everybody will go around the house and find an item that they think the it person just picked. So if they picked a pillow, you're gonna try to predict that they picked a pillow, and then you're gonna wanna go find a pillow of the same color that you think that they chose. So you're almost like a mind reader. What object did you choose? Y'all, whatever. I watch a lot of television. Anyway, they're gonna try to figure out what item that it person is going to choose, and then everybody's gonna get an item and come back to the computer screen. Now, nobody shows their item. That is the trick to the game. And then you guys are gonna kind of take turns and you're gonna ask yes or no questions to the it person.
Is it something you can hold in your hand?
Yes.
Is it flat?
No.
Now here's the catch. You're not gonna wanna get yourself out. So if your item was black, I would ask, is your item purple? And hopefully they say no so that I can stay in the game, right?
Is it round?
No.
Man, I got myself out.
So the object of the game is to be the last person beside the it person with your item not revealed. So you want your item to kind of blend in with the it person's item. So each person asks a yes or no question. If the it person said no, that their item was not purple and your item was purple, then you would say, oh, you guys, I'm out. And then you would reveal your item. And of course, the last person that hasn't revealed their item wins. And then after that person wins, the it person will then show what the mystery item really was. Now the next game is really an oldie but goodie, but next we are playing I Spy. And with I Spy, one person is going to pick one colorful item on anybody's screen without telling everybody whose screen they just chose. So they will say,
I spy something white.
These letters.
Yay!
Alright, I spy with my little eyes something purple. Yep.
Go.
I spy with my little eyes something green. Nope. Nope.
That thing above your letters.
This one?
That green thing, yeah.
Yep, that was it.
And it's a really fun game to play with a bunch of people because everybody's just kind of looking at each other and then you're like, oh, it's my shirt. Ah! Insert laughter here. And of course, everybody's gonna go around taking turns trying to find out what the I Spy person spied. I spy you, Pikachu. All right, so our next game is called Head, Shoulder, Knees, and Toes. Knees and toes. Yes, head, shoulder, knees, and toes. And yes, you guys, I made up this game to go with the song. So if you want to get up and start singing, get up and start singing. There is nothing stopping you. So with head, shoulder, knees, and toes, what you're going to try to do is have everybody touch the same body part at the same time. And this really helps with like problem solving because you kind of have to like think like other people and try to figure out what people are going to do. Everybody's going to adjust their cameras and stand up so that everybody can see your entire body. Then everybody will face away from the camera and then you as the host will say 1, 2, 3, turn. And when you say turn, everybody must be touching a body part, either their head, shoulder, knees, or toes. And then you're gonna kind of look on the screen and see what everybody else touched. Remember, the object of the game is to get everybody on the call to touch the same body part. Then once everybody looks at each other, they'll turn back around and then you'll say 1, 2, 3, turn. Then everybody turns around, they look at everybody, and hopefully they'll start to catch on, and eventually everybody wins when everybody's touching the exact same body part. It's almost like you're reading everybody's mind, but you're doing it the fun way.
1, 2, 3, go.
Now since everybody's standing up from head, shoulder, knees, and toes, let's just jump to this next game. And our next game is red light, green light. And yes, you can play this on Zoom. Believe me, I've done it with kids and adults, and both times it was really fun. So once again, you're gonna have everybody adjust their cameras where everybody can see their entire body. And then once everybody sees their entire body, they're going to go back as far as possible, make sure that nobody's cheating, in order to play red light, green light. Then you're gonna designate one person to be the stoplight, and that's the person that is going to change the light from red to green. When they say green light, everybody walks to the camera. When they say red light, you must freeze. Keep freezing. I haven't said green light yet. Green light, all right, now I can continue to talk. You get the point? Ha! Okay, so the object of the game is to be the first person to type anything at all into the chat box. So wouldn't it be cheating if you already had the chat box up before you even began to play? That's just being smart. So I suggest you tell everybody, go ahead and bring up the chat box and then get to the other side of the room. So that way when everybody gets close to the camera, they just have to type and click enter.
Green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
I win! I win!
And if the person says red light and you're typing, don't cheat. You're still frozen. Let's go to another one of my favorite games. And this game is called Poses. Yes, you guys, I made this game up and I play it time and time again and I absolutely love it. And it's also a really fun Zoom game for kids. So with poses, everybody's going to start off by giving everybody a designated pose. So you're gonna start the call by literally saying, what's your pose? And everybody's gonna show and demonstrate their pose. Allow time for everybody to practice each other's pose. That way everybody remembers everybody's pose. Then you'll set a timer for like 1 to 2 minutes and you will start off by secretly messaging one person on the call. So of course, instead of sending a message to everybody, you are going to only send it to one individual person. And you can simply type in it and then that person becomes it. Now, the really cool thing is that person can then send it to another person secretly, or they can decide to stop the chain and then that person would be the pose master. And literally you never know where the chain stopped, because just because you send it to me doesn't necessarily mean that I actually sent it to somebody else. I could have stopped it at me, but you wouldn't even know, because that's the secret of the game. Then when your timer goes off for your 1 to 2 minutes, whoever is the last person to receive it they are automatically the pose master. So the game is done in different rounds. So you'll say 1, 2, 3, pose. And you as the host will keep the game moving. So as you say 1, 2, 3, pose, everybody on the call will do the pose of who they think the pose master is. And of course, I always have a catch. So if you are the pose master and somebody does your pose, so if you are actually the pose master and your pose was this, once somebody does your pose, that next round you have to do your own pose. That's the catch. Because if not, the game would continue to go forever. So once somebody does your pose, then that next 1, 2, 3 pose, you have to do your own pose. So it's really important to pay attention and teach kids to pay attention so that they will kind of pick up on who's actually doing their own pose. And then you will continue to play the game until eventually everybody on the call has figured it out and everybody is doing the pose master's pose. Cheese! Our next game is called Animal Charades. And this isn't just any charades, it's the animal version of charades. During animal charades, what everybody will do is you will choose one person to go up, just like as if you're playing charades at your house. And that person will have 60 seconds to mock as many animals as possible. Now, you can play this game each man for himself, or you can have everybody pair up in teams. Whoever is the actor of the round will simply act out as many animals as they can in 60 seconds. Each time somebody guesses the correct animal, they'll say, "You guessed it," and then that person or that team gets a point. And then when the timer goes off, you go to the next person on the next team, and then they get to act out animals. And of course, you don't want to repeat the animals, so be creative, like really creative. Very creative. I find it best if you allow kids to just kind of use their imagination. They'll actually think of animals that you would have never thought of. So I suggest not limiting them on animal charades because it's animal charades. You already know the category is animals, so what more do you need? Our next game literally comes from one of my favorite old-time game shows. Like, do y'all remember the Game Show Network? I used to sit there and watch the Game Show Network all the time. I wonder what happened with the Game Show Network. Anyways, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a show called Card Shark. So this next game is called Card Shark, and I pretty much took this game from that TV show. But basically what you're gonna do is you are going to get a deck of cards. Only you, nobody else needs cards. And then everybody will kind of be divided up into teams, or you can do each man for himself. Doesn't really matter. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and put 5 cards facing down and show the camera on all 5 cards. Now, whoever's team or whoever's turn it is will kind of have to figure out if the next card is gonna be higher or lower than the card that you will previously turn over. So what you'll do is turn over the first card, and then that person or team simply has to say if the next card is gonna be higher or lower. Then you turn off the next card and see if they're right. If they're right, you'll keep going. If they're not right, then you'll count up how many cards they actually did get to turn over, and then that is their score.
3. Is the next card higher or lower than a 3?
Higher.
All right, you were right. So it's a jack. Is it higher or lower than a jack?
I think it's higher.
You think higher than a jack?
Yeah.
No, it was lower.
Then the next team goes, and then you'll see if that team has a better shot of collecting all 5 cards. Of course, at the end of however many rounds you want to play, whoever turned over the most total amount of cards would win. Yay! A shirt challenge! I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I'm gonna tell all the kids to take off their shirts. Yeah, no. What kind of person do you take me as? So with the shirt challenge, everybody will try to figure out how many items they can actually stuff into their shirts within 60 seconds. Now, because we don't want to be inappropriate, I suggest telling everybody on the call to go put another shirt on. That way we don't even have any mistake. When I played, I had a little girl and she actually had a dress on, so then she had to put another shirt on over top of her dress, and I told her, do not use your dress. Only use your shirt that you just put on top of it. So of course, before you even play the game, you can simply say, everybody go get another shirt and put it on top of your clothes, and we're gonna play a game. Once everybody has their shirt, you are going to set the timer for 60 seconds. Now, everybody must have their shirt flipped up, and the object of the game is of course to see how many items they can put in their shirt within 60 seconds. This also makes kids think, because remember, the winner is whoever had the most items in their shirt. So they don't want to get something big like a pillow, because that only counts as one item. Of course, you don't want to tell kids how to think, because that would just be taking the thinking away from them. And then of course, when the timer goes off, you can go ahead and have everybody run back to the computer, and then one at a time, each child must show you exactly what they had in their shirt and count up how many total items they had in their shirt. Are you a member of the Everything Aja community? If not, go ahead and like, subscribe, and click the bell. Pictionary is an amazing game that you should play. And with Pictionary, you would choose one person to draw on the whiteboard, and they will draw random, ordinary objects. For each correct guess, that person will get a point, and whoever has the most points wins.
After you handling those drawings, that looks quite.
This game that we're gonna play is a minute to win a game called Heart Draw. And with this game, everybody will either use the whiteboard feature, or they can just simply grab a sheet of paper at their house, or they can use the whiteboard feature on PowerPoint, whatever you want to do. Everybody just needs something to write with. Then you will set a 1-minute timer, and each person must see how many hearts they can draw in a minute. You guys, this is a lot harder than it sounds, because hearts aren't easy to draw. When the timer goes off, everybody will stop, pick up their pencils, and go ahead and count exactly how many hearts they drew in a minute. Whoever drew the most hearts wins. And if you want to add even more of a spin to this game, you can even take this one step further, and you have everybody create a math problem, and the answer to their math problem is the same number of hearts they were able to draw in a minute. I know y'all are seeing some games that you're just dying to play. So go ahead, let me know down below in the comments, which one of these games are you excited to play? The good old noun game. Each round you will choose one person that will just say a letter.
Alright, the next letter is going to be H.
Every noun that you write with your person, place, thing, or animal has to start with that letter. And the first person that's typed in all 4 in the search box, they get a point. Whoever has the most points wins. This next game is called Just for Kicks, and you might remember it from this video. And playing Just for Kicks, each person will get a turn, and they will say a color and a category. And everybody disperses, and they have 30 seconds to find an object of that color and category. Now, if 2 kids bring back the exact same object, they don't get that point. So you want to bring back something that nobody else has. Each person will get a chance saying a color and category. For each item a kid brings back that nobody else has, they get a point. And whoever has the most points wins. Now, if you're getting value out of these games, don't forget to click that like button. And while you're down there, click subscribe. It's called the Muted Singer. And everybody will put their mics on mute. One person will sing a song. The object of the game is try to figure out exactly what song that person is singing, so that you can join in and sing with them. Once the singer thinks that everybody knows their song, they will go like this, and everybody will unmute their mics and see if they're actually singing the same song.
A diamond
In the sky, twinkle, twinkle.
You can play I Spy 2 different ways virtually. The first way you can play it is one person takes a picture of their room. They share their screen so that everybody can see their entire room. Now, if you don't want to take a picture of your filthy room, you can always just use everybody's screen. This makes for a good time because you don't know whose screen that person is referring to. Then one person will choose one object and keep that object in mind, and they will describe that object based on the color.
Ice,
by something pink.
Flower.
No,
That flower.
not that one either.
The little girl in the picture with the doll.
No,
It must be that picture.
it is that picture.
This next game is called Word Smart. So everybody will give a random letter and one person will type in all of those letters in the chat box. Set a 2-minute timer and everybody then types as many words as they possibly can using the letters typed in the type box. Then at the end of the timer, everybody will hit enter at the same time. So then you will see everybody's answers. You would then count up exactly how many points each person would get. Now, if 2 people said the same word, they don't get a point. So you want to be creative and try to figure out the words that nobody else is going to type. And you only get a point for words that are 3 letters or more. So if a word is 3 letters, you get 1 point. 4 letters, you get 2 points. 5 letters, you get 3 points, and so on. And whoever has the most points wins. So this next game is the Comprehension Master. And this game requires you as the adult to be on the call. What you would do is grab a book that none of the kids on the call has read. So you have to be a little creative with this one. And you will read the book. However, you will constantly stop and ask comprehension questions. And these are questions that have already been stated in the book. If you just read, they set off for Rabbit World with Little Rabbit and his red balloon leading the way. Then in a few pages, I would ask, what color was the rabbit's balloon? And then the first kid that says red gets a point. And you will continue to do that as you read the book. And then at the end, go ahead and total up how many points each child got. And they have become the Comprehension Master rhyming concentration game. Each child will be given a designated turn order. Now, you as the host will always be turn number 1 because you will control each round of the game. So you will go first and then you will assign 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, depending on how many people you have on the call, and everybody will have their turn order. Now for each round, you will start by giving 1 word. Everybody will need this beat. Join me. Okay, you get it. Now you can control the difficulty level of the game. If you allow children to use nonsense words, it's a little bit easier. If you wanted to make it challenging, you will say no nonsense words. That means that every word the child says has to be an actual word that you would simply find on the internet. So they can't make up any word.
Cat.
Bat.
Good.
Then when it makes it all the way back to your turn, you change the word up.
That.
Mad.
Good.
Mad.
You know, yeah, he already said
You
that.
just said that. So we got sad, mad,
Bad.
bad. Good one.
So you wouldn't want to use like xylophone. I mean, what really rhymes with xylophone? Well, microphone, styrofoam. Okay, so maybe there are words that rhyme with xylophone, but you get the point. A kid is out when they can't think of a rhyming word or they take too long to say a rhyming word and their beat is over. Push-up challenge. So I hope you have your arm muscles ready. Oh yeah. Oh, y'all, I'm flexing. The push-up challenge is really like a minute to win a game. You will set a timer for 60 seconds and make sure that all the kids actually have their cameras facing them. They will get on the floor and they will count to see how many push-ups they can do in 60 seconds. Now, each time a child does a push-up, they have to keep track of how many push-ups they're doing. This requires kids to count. I told y'all we like to do educational stuff the fun way. So not only are they working with math with counting, but they're also working out their gross motor skills by working out their arm muscles. Oh yeah, let's get it, people. How many push-ups can you do? The emoji challenge. With the emoji challenge, what you're gonna do is share your screen and then you're gonna display the emojis. Everybody on the call must act out the emoji. If you wanna choose a winner, then you will have everybody freeze in their emoji reaction and then you're going to look at everybody's screen and then you're going to determine a winner. And then that person gets a point. And then you're gonna go to the next emoji picture and do it all over again. If you don't necessarily want to have a winner, it's really fun just having the kids react to the different emojis. Oh. And of course, if you were given a point for each winner of each round of the emoji challenge reaction game, then whoever had the most points at the end of the game would win. Alright, so let's get to our next game. Hangman is another really fun virtual online game. All you need is a whiteboard feature. You will divide up everybody into 2 teams. One person from each team will go at a time, and they will do their little hangman, and they will have their team, and of course you'll have a bank of letters. Each team member on that team gets to guess a letter, and that person will write a sentence or a simple phrase, and they will go ahead and put a line for each letter in a word. I simply recommend putting numbers, that way people know where the words are, but you don't have to do this. Each player from that person's team will get to guess a letter.
Okay.
If that letter appears in the phrase, anywhere in the phrase, then they must write the letter as many times as that letter comes up in the blank space that represents that letter. If the letter is not in their phrase, then you will go ahead and write that letter to the side of the board and then add a body part. If you guess the phrase before the entire body of Hangman is filled out, then that team gets a point.
Full. Full.
L.
Oh,
If your Hangman has all his body pieces before the phrase is figured out, then the other team gets a point. And you will continue to trade off between teams until the first team gets 5 points. Woo! Yay! We need to celebrate just getting through that. Those were a lot of really fun Zoom games for kids. I know you got some value out of that because you are ready to go out there and play some Zoom games with your children. If you're not a member yet, go ahead